Biden begs for help. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Do you believe in karma? I do. What goes around comes around. We've all seen bad people do bad things. They get away with it for a while, don't they? But sooner or later, it all comes back to bite them. Well, finally, the left is reaping what they sowed. Every liberal precinct in America is getting rocked. Two Hollywood actors in back-to-back weeks have dominated the news, mired in massive scandals. Jussie Smollett and Alec Baldwin, both Trump-hating narcissists, both reckless liars, bringing shame to their industry. One convicted of a race-baiting hoax, the other shot a woman dead on set. Both ran to ABC News and cried.
I was talking to a friend, and I said, I just want them to find them.
But ABC didn't save them. Both interviews blew up in their faces. And now they're facing national scorn and possible prison time. The media, another liberal institution's terminally ill and in no shape to rehab anybody. CNN's top anchor, Chris Cuomo, facing his own sexual misconduct allegations, fired by Jeff Zucker for cause. And Cuomo is going to sue CNN to get the rest of his contract paid out. CNN says it won't pay, so it's about to get ugly with leaks. Unable to crack 1 million viewers in any hour of the day, they may be forced to put Don Lemon in Cuomo's spot, an unappealing anchor who's also facing a nasty, nasty sexual assault allegation. CNN doesn't come on in airports anymore, so now we'll know nobody's going to be watching them. CNN could also lose millions after Kyle Rittenhouse takes him to the cleaners for defamation. Liberal cities turned into war zones after defund the police and bail reform. 12 American cities smashing murder records so far this year. All these cities run by Democrats. Philly, my hometown, 524 homicides. But the radical DA, Larry Krasner, doesn't see the dead bodies.
We don't have a crisis of lawlessness. We don't have a crisis of crime. We don't have a crisis of violence.
The streets call him Uncle Larry because they know Larry's going to let him out. Uncle Larry's Soros-funded. A left-wing billionaire is buying off DAs and causing a crime wave, and so Jen Psaki blames COVID. Smash and grab teams tearing through cities. This has nothing to do with COVID. They aren't stealing vaccines. They're costing business millions of dollars and shutting down shopping districts before Christmas. But AOC says don't believe what you see with your own eyes.
A lot of these allegations of organized retail theft are not actually panning out. Like these, I believe it's a Walgreens in California cited it, but the data didn't back it up.
AOC's trying to play you for a fool. Jen Psaki said at least the Biden administration's sending federal support to deal with these smash and grabs. Well, we checked, and she lied. The National Sheriff's Association said they haven't seen any help from the feds. The White House played you for a fool on immigration, too. Remember Kamala went to Guatemala to fix root causes? So the Guatemalan president was asked how Harris has been figuring that out with him.
Other than your meeting with Kamala Harris in June.
That's the only one.
That is the only communication you've had with the Biden administration about illegal immigration?
Yep.
Guatemala hasn't heard from Kamala since June. That whole trip was a stunt. Kamala's entire vice presidency is a stunt. Hiring child actors, hiding after Afghanistan, and, as you know, fake laughing.
Slow down, everybody. No. Can I get a witness?
She falls for every hoax, too. Kamala thought Rittenhouse was guilty and Smollett was innocent. The woman has the lowest approval rating in VP history, and her staff's leaking and jumping ship. The resignations just keep piling up, and so does the bad press. A former staffer told the Washington Post, quote, "It's clear that you're not working with somebody who's willing to do the prep and the work. With Kamala, you have to put up with a constant amount of soul-destroying criticism and also her own lack of self-confidence. So you're constantly sort of propping up a bully, and it's not really clear why." The Biden administration's rotting from the head. Joe's toast, and the voters know it. Even the Democrats know it. Politico spoke to several Democrats and wrote this week that they're trying to distance themselves from President Biden because his poll numbers are getting so bad. The Democrat-controlled Senate just passed a Republican bill to overturn Joe's vax mandate for private business. Even the media can't help but notice how bad things really are. Here's NBC News throwing a haymaker in the briefing room.
The withdrawal from Afghanistan over the summer was widely criticized. There are increasing tensions with China and Taiwan, and now you have Russian troops amassing on the border with Ukraine. Candidate Biden campaigned on a pledge to restore America's credibility on the world stage on his foreign policy experience. Is he living up to that pledge?
Psaki stammered. She had no answers. I'm not even going to air any more of their spin. It's just going to give you a headache. But it's a catastrophe wherever you turn in liberal America. Their education monopoly poisoned by critical race theory. Bill Clinton's gal pal Ghislaine Maxwell on trial for underage sex trafficking. Michigan, with all the mandates, clocking in as the #1 state with the highest COVID case rate. Media obviously silent. Media is still silent on the black supremacist ex-con sex offender out on low bail who murdered 6 innocent Americans during a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. They blamed an SUV, then just blacked out the massacre. Fox, hit with a Christmas crime this week as a deranged freak burned down our tree. Our top-notch security, though, they tackled him, and the fire department quickly put out the blaze. But of course, the arsonist walked out of jail the next day because dangerous Democrats have hotwired the laws around here. And the New York Times actually wrote, "The tree caught on fire." Maybe we should blame the Bic lighter. But Fox was back up with a new tree within 24 hours. And while Fox is fixing problems, Joe Biden causes problems and then just blames everybody else. Now he's begging the media to help him out. This week, the Biden White House held secret meetings with journalists and begged for better coverage. How bad does a Democrat president have to be doing for him to have to beg Democrats in the media for better spin? Joe, hasn't the media done enough for you already? Buried the laptop, ignored the border, and stopped the fact-checking? I'm afraid to ask what better coverage would look like. There might be kids watching at home. Biden runs away from reporters, and now he wants them to lie for him? The media's lied about so much already. Russia, Kavanaugh, the lab leak. Surely none of those reporters would lie on demand. Of course they would. Dana Milbank, Washington Post, as I've said, worst paper in America, came out with this piece, quote, "The media treats Biden as badly or worse than Trump. Here's proof." I must have missed the media calling Biden a fat white supremacist troop-hating traitor. But another hack raised his hands and answered Biden's SOS call.
Big economic relief for millions of Americans who have been dealing with soaring energy prices. Cost at the pump finally easing up, with the national average for a gallon of regular falling to $3.35, the lowest since October. Just look at that.
That was esteemed economist Don Lemon celebrating the price of gas going down 7 cents after gas went up over $1 since Biden's inauguration. Not to be outdone, more hacks stood up.
The question is, why don't people want to hear the good news for a change? Is that what we need to hear when something good is happening here?
You said, that people are not picking up on the good stuff. I believe that that's because the media is not portraying him as a winner. They are minimizing what he is doing. When the chips are down, Americans are going to understand that if Republicans take control of this country again, we are done as a country. Believe it.
With friends like Dana, Don, Whoopi, and Joy. Who needs enemies? Keep telling Americans you're great. Keep saying how great things are. See what happens in the midterms. Everything on the left's collapsing across the board. The press can't rescue you this time. The press helped you get into this mess, and they're in just as much trouble as you. The press and all of their decrepit institutions conspired to knock Trump out and foist an unvetted empty suit on this country. And the country knows it. And the country's paying for it. And now, it's payback time.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.